Five Nights at Freddy's games are meant to be scary, and much of that has to do with the cast of animatronic threats within the games. So in this video, I'll be picking the most and least scary character from each Five Nights at Freddy's game. The only rule I set for myself is the character has to be an active threat in the game they appear in. So any background characters, tycoon characters, or minigame characters won't count. Also, I won't be including Help Wanted or Help Wanted 2 on this list, as a lot of the characters in that game are just characters from other games, so anyone being scary would just carry on from the previous games. But anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get right into it. The original cast of animatronics to me have always been some of the best designed characters in the entire series. Their iconic look and personality allows you to develop a unique relationship with each one, and makes it possible for any one of the 5 characters to be the scariest to someone. Back when I first played this game, I would have said Golden Freddy because I got traumatized by his jump scare as a kid. Then I would have said Bonnie because I believe he has the best design in all of Five Nights at Freddy's and he is undoubtedly creepy. But after some careful thinking about the gameplay, the ambience, and after playing the original again just casually on my own, I have no doubt in my mind that the scariest character from the original game is Freddy. One thing I have always loved about the original game is how they used Freddy, making him seem like an actual final boss of sorts, and really shining through as a final challenge. He really is the leader of the pack and you are in his pizzeria. Freddy's design has always been super solid to me, and him with the black eyes hiding in the shadows have always been terrifying. Freddy's laugh is haunting, and hearing it get louder and louder as he approaches your office puts you on edge, and as Freddy is hard to see on camera, you are left scrambling trying to find him. Also, as evident from my every jump scare ranked video, a lot of people seem to agree that Freddy's office jump scare was the best in the entire series, and looking back on that list, I honestly would have placed him much higher than I initially did. It's an excellent jump scare, and the tension you feel knowing Freddy is right outside your door is bone-chilling. It distracts you from identifying any pattern in his behaviour, which adds to the mystery of how he works. The way he appears on different cameras along with that laugh really emphasises the intelligence. There's just so much to Freddy in this game, and as a result, Freddy is easily the scariest character in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Now, in terms of who the least scariest is, this was a tough call. And once I did the repeat playthrough and putting myself into the shoes of 13-year-old me, I decided that out of all the original characters, Foxy was the least scary. I know this will be controversial, I'm sure, but let me explain. I want to start by saying that Foxy is still scary. The way he peeks his head out of the Pirate Cove and his fast speed definitely add to the fear of the Fox Pirate. He's a great addition to the game, and he really helps add to the horror. However, in my opinion, he is the least creepy design, and I think his attack really loses its impact after the first time you experience it. Bonnie and Chica are basic in their gameplay, but the designs and the angles they show up on cameras are really haunting and creepy, which makes it that when they do come to the door, it's all the more scary. Foxy is more like a ticking time bomb. He's got to make sure you catch it. It's like the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The puppet is a scary character, and you're left on your toes trying to wind the music box, but after you fail and experience death to the puppet, it doesn't really scare you anymore because you know what to expect. And to me, that's kind of what Foxy represents in this game. I wish Foxy could attack from both hallways because that could definitely help with making him more scary. But while Foxy is still scary, to me at least, he is just the least scary of the original cast. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 isn't as scary as the original game in my opinion, and the toy animatronics kinda confirm that. Most of the characters in the game have pretty unscary designs. However, I would say that the withered animatronics make up for that, and out of all the withered characters, I would say that withered Bonnie is the scariest. All the withereds give this feeling of power, and that has something to do with their sheer size, and withered Bonnie 100% meets that. His missing face and arm turn him into a broken machine which is out for blood. His violent nature is echoed through his design. He is easily the scariest out of the withers, and I wish that the cameras had more of a use because some of the angles that Withered Bonnie appears in are just horrific and downright terrifying. Now, as I said before, the toy animatronics are not scary, so it'll be one of them. And in my mind, I would say the least scariest toy animatronic and the least scariest character from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is Toy Bonnie. Balloon Boy nearly lost, but I think his design is at least a little creepy, unlike Toy Bonnie. Now, is Toy Bonnie scary at all? On 1020 runs, yes, the f he is, because he sucks, and he is a run killer. But in terms of normal gameplay, he is not scary at all. His design is not in any way, shape or form creepy, he's just really, really cute. There's nothing about him that makes him scary, it's all cute and cuddly. And I get that he's meant to be a kid entertainer who turns into a murderous robot, but this design is just way too over the top for me. Bonnie has always represented the less is more mentality, but I think that Toy Bonnie is just way too much for me to take seriously. Now with Five Nights at Freddy's 3, there is only one correct answer as to who the scariest character is. There's really only one character to pick from. Springtrap is not only easily the scariest character in this game, but also one of the scariest characters in the entire Five Nights at Freddy's series. Springtrap's design is one of, if not the best design out of anyone in the series, and it tells a horrifying tale. A psychotic serial killer who gets trapped in a suit of his making, a suit of metal, a rotting corpse inside. Poetry, almost. Springtrap in this game is absolutely terrifying, and although his jump scare isn't the best, he is still a force to be reckoned with. Okay, the Phantoms are not that scary, let's be completely honest. Their colour is not in the slightest bit convincing, and they simply just don't look that good. And out of all of them, Phantom Balloon Boy is the least scary. Not a debate in my mind, not gonna go on with it. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is definitely one of the scariest games in the series, and I definitely think that the character designs are a big reason for that. Out of all the designs in this game, 2 of the characters were absolutely at the top of my list for picks of the most scary character in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Both are very similar, and there are arguments for both sides, but out of these 2 characters, I believe that the scariest one is Nightmare Fredbear. Yes, Nightmare is creepy as hell. He's a creepy as hell character, and pretty much has all the same attributes that make Nightmare Fredbear so scary. However, I think that Fredbear just looks a little better. One of the things that make Fredbear so terrifying is his sheer size, and I think the bright yellow shows that off a lot better than the transparent black. Plus, the bright yellow colour sticks out more and shows off a lot more of the creepy features, like his teeth belly. This bear is unbelievably horrifying, and from that first moment that you meet him on night 5, it's horrifying. Of course, like that with Foxy, once you experience him once, the impact isn't as good. However, I think in terms of a final boss, once again, he just works. His laugh is haunting and always sends shivers down my spine. It is in my mind one of the best sound effects in Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe one day I'll make the sound effects. Anyway, sorry, get a bit off track. Now, picking the least scary for this game was actually kind of hard. On the one hand, Plushtrap was a pretty obvious pick, but I'll be completely honest, his minigame is honestly a little nerve-wracking, and even though Plushtrap is so small, after playing this game again, I have to be honest, Nightmare Freddy just didn't scare me at all, and that's because he literally never shows up. The only time I have ever, and I mean ever, died to Freddy was with Mad Freddy on, and even then I would normally die to something else. Nightmare Freddy just isn't in the game enough to be a threat, and his Freddles are not scary at all. To be honest, I think Nightmare Freddy has the weakest design out of all the Nightmares, which is a shame because I think Freddy should be the star of the show. I'll be honest, Sister Location kinda hit home with the jump scares, and part of that has to do with the design of the characters. The toy look of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but then their faceplates open up to reveal these horrific endoskeletons underneath that are just terrifying. Picking the scariest character from this game was actually pretty hard. I was going to choose Enid, but I just never found him that scary if I'm honest. He looks super cool, but he's just not scary to me. If I had to pick the scariest character from Sister Location, I would pick Ballora. And while I'm not 100% sold on the design, she is definitely able to scare the crap out of you. Something about a humanoid animatronic is just really creepy, and something we haven't seen in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. Her song is very haunting, and is actually quite scary as hearing it, because it means she's close and can kill you. Her jump scare is one of the best in the entire series, and it is absolutely horrifying. That combined with her size is just freaky to me. Now for the least scary, this one was pretty easy. I know he's technically an attachment, but Bonbon does attack you by himself, and he just isn't threatening in the slightest. He just looks like a redesign of Toy Bonnie, and it just doesn't work for me. Pizzeria Simulator in my mind has some of the worst designed characters in the entire series. I just think they all look terrible, and the only character I don't think about that is Lefty. And Lefty to me is the only character in this game that is actually scary at all. Granted, I think he's more creepy than scary, but this game doesn't have much to work with, so I won't fault it too much. Lefty is just a creepy character, and the mystery of why he's only $5 and who he actually is, since we already know who the other characters are, it's quite intriguing and makes him creepy for sure. Obviously we do find out who Lefty is, and now it's common knowledge, but it took us a while, and back then it wasn't common knowledge at all. Anyways, like I said before, I think all the character designs in this game suck, and Scrap Trap is easily the worst. Nothing about this guy is scariest in the slightest, so I'll leave it at that. Ultimate Custom Night is not a horror game, and it is not scary at all. However, there is one character that despite this game's custom modes, trash jump scare, pretty chill ambience, and non-threatening office, manages to scare me so badly that I think it might be one of the scariest moments in all of Five Nights at Freddy's. And that character is Dee Dee. If you ever have had the misfortune of running into Dee Dee, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say her appearing in your office is horrifying. The song that plays is haunting, and you are left to the mercy of RNG. I know this is a joke, but Dee Dee is the scariest, because the fact that she can add a random character at random does put you on your toes, and no one likes Dee Dee. In terms of least scary, because all the characters in this game have been turned into friendly mascots and no one is actually scary, the least scary will be based on design, and Helpy pretty much embodies that. Also, his jump scare sound is an air horn, like come on. Okay, so Security Breach is overall not very scary, but there are definitely some scary moments for sure, and if you have played this game, one section is definitely set higher than the rest in terms of being scary, and that is the Weeping Angel Endo section, which would make the Endos the scariest characters in Security Breach. This section is very nerve-wracking and is one of the most intense sections in the entire game. Probably the only time I was ever scared playing this game. And we have an actual human on the list. Woo! Okay, I know Vanessa is not an animatronic, but she is a threat in one part of the game, and she's just not scary. I mean, look at her. Ruin tried to be scary, I guess. I don't know, if I'm being honest, once again, only one part really scared me at all, and it didn't even really do that. But the prototype Freddy is quite scary, I won't lie. Something about his chest is just creepy to me. Okay, so Chica looks like an absolute mess and just looks dumb, if I'm being honest. All I can really say is she's not scary. Alright, well, I think that does it, except for one final question. Out of all the characters I just picked, which is the scariest and which was the least scary? For the scariest, I am picking the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Freddy, with Springtrap coming in close second, just because of Freddy's behaviour and how he causes so much tension in such a simple game. And for the least scary, Vanessa, because how could anyone find her scary? Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, I'll be ranking all the characters based on their design very soon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Alright, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good day. Bye!